Manchester United vs West Brom live score and goal updates plus TV channel. Manchester United vs West Brom live score and goal updates plus TV channel. Man United are in action in the Premier League as they host bottom-of-the-table West Bromwich Albion at Old Trafford. Manchester United to offer Luke Shaw in exchange for Danny Rose and more transfer rumours. Manchester United have just 6 games left in the Premier League and will be hoping to put in a convincing display this afternoon as they host bottom-of-the-table West Bromwich Albion. After Liverpool won yesterday, Jose Mourinho's side are just 1 point clear in second place, but a win today would put that gap back to 4 points with 5 games to play. Phil Jones could return for United for the first time in 2 months after he was spotted arriving at the Lowry Hotel with his teammates yesterday. The England defender hasn't played for United since the defeat against Newcastle in February. But 5 players could miss the game as Luke Shaw, Eric Bailly, Matteo Darmian, Marouane Fellaini and Michael Carrick were not spotted arriving with the team. Stick with us as we bring you all the team news and match action live from Old Trafford. Mourinho's explained his team selection. Speaking to Sky Sports, he said, Bailey a decision again. Victor played against Swansea at home, adapted to his qualities when it is a game where normally we have more of the ball and have someone with extra attacking quality at the back. We have 3 matches in a week and Spurs in the semi-final. They will have 1 extra day than us to prepare. I believe they are going to be like the game we played the week before, the derby, very compact and no space to play, and Mata is one of the players in my team who thinks fast, and that's what we need. Lindelof given a confidence boost by Mourinho. Victor Lindelof has been handed another confidence boost by boss Jose Mourinho as he makes the 23rd start of his roller coaster debut season. We are not quite sure why Eric Bailly has missed out, rested ahead of the cup semi-final, or yet another niggle, but it is telling that Lindelof has gotten the nod when Phil Jones and Marcos Rojo are both back in contention. So why is the Swede starting? Lindelof is probably our centre-back who comes into the midfield better with the ball and is a better passer of the ball, Mourinho said ahead of the Swansea game in his last start for the club. The 23-year-old could yet have a big part to play as United's season draws to a close. Mourinho's just handed Martial and Rashford a big challenge. Mourinho's team has to pose as a challenge to Martial and Rashford, right-footers overlooked in favour of a left-footer on the right. They are both dismal whenever they play on the right, but, amid supposed concerns over their lack of playing time, need to be jolted if they are to regain their place in the United 11. Mourinho rightly said there is nothing more I can do, in regards to their current situations. Lingard is more unfortunate to be starting today on the bench than Martial or Rashford, so whenever they get an opportunity they have to take it. Mourinho could have just handed some players a big incentive before kick-off. It has actually got to the point, with the likes of Blind, Darmian and Shaw, that if they start at Bournemouth on Wednesday it just reiterates their likely departures. United should reopen their 4-point advantage over Liverpool today, and that would be an incentive to rest some players for Wednesday's trip to Bournemouth, which could allow the likes of Blind, Darmian and Shaw to make the bench. Bournemouth is far from an inconsequential game, but it is being staged 3 days before United's biggest game of the season. Paul Pogba may have had his watershed moment. There have been a lot of mooted turning points, but that man-of-the-match display in the Manchester derby could prove a watershed moment for Paul Pogba. With Michael Carrick's advice still ringing in his ears, the Frenchman knew he had to step up and spearhead United's attack by getting into the box and targeting City's soft centre. The kind of player Frank Lampard became under Mourinho's guidance at a similar age. The Chelsea great made his name for arriving into the box at just the right time, and, perhaps, there are few better to advise Pogba on how he can build on his most commanding half yet for United. He needs to time his runs like he did for the second goal when Sanchez put it on a plate for him, he told Match of the Day last week. If he does that more, and he's got all the attributes to do that regularly, he could score a lot more goals and be that real top-class midfielder that he's threatening to be. That is the challenge for Pogba, and indeed Mourinho, going forward. The absentees are telling. The most interesting aspect about the United squad is the absentees. Fellaini, Shaw, Darmian and Blind will probably not be at the club next season, so what incentive is there to play them now? Mourinho is working with the group he'll probably continue to work with next season. Mourinho's stuck with the formation that beat City. So United stick with 4-3-3. Have to assume Bailey has suffered another injury, given his squad absence, as alluded to earlier. Herrera arguably deserves to retain his place, but it always felt as though Mata would start today, although few would have imagined at the expense of Lingard. Avram Glazer is in the director's box with managing director Richard Arnold, chewing the fat with some guests. Glazer was at the Chelsea game in February but hasn't been seen here that often this season, and he tends to be the only family member in attendance for certain games, which is in stark comparison to the early Glazer days when 3 of the brothers were often pictured together. Louis van Gaal did say he met the Glazers in person before discussing transfer plans, so there's every chance that'll be on the agenda should Mourinho meet Avram Glazer later today. United have rediscovered an old habit just at the right time. Having seemingly lost the ability to regularly come from behind, which was obviously so important to Sir Alex Ferguson's success at the club, United have suddenly rediscovered that priceless habit. In 3 of their last 5 league games, they have recovered from a deficit to beat Chelsea, Crystal Palace and, of course, City. On 2 of those occasions, they were 2-0 down with 50 minutes played. When Mourinho rambled about football heritage and leaving his eventual successor a squad with a strong mentality, this was what he was referring to. Of course, you never want to be 2 goals down in the first place, but it is no longer game over when United go behind, as has often been the case since Ferguson retired. The challenge for Mourinho now is to trust his side to play with the shackles off, as they did at the start of the season, and to not have to go behind to then revert to a bolder philosophy. Compton is clearly confident United are going to win. He's not even got the United game on his radar apparently, despite the fact City could win the league if United slip up today. United's next 6 games are crucial. That is the target. If United win their remaining 6 league games, they will have amassed a points total which would have been enough to win the Premier League title on 16 previous occasions. But that will be of little comfort to Jose Mourinho, even if his side lift the FA Cup. When the Portuguese took charge at Real Madrid, it did not take him long to belittle predecessor Manuel Pellegrini's club record points total at the Bernabeu, which had not been enough to overthrow Pep Guardiola's Barcelona in 2010. Second place is just the first loser, he hissed. If Madrid were to fire me, I wouldn't go to Malaga. I'd go to a top-level team in Italy or England. However many fingers he holds up in the air after winning a cup competition, Mourinho knows that he will ultimately be judged on ending United's title drought. Finishing the season on a high and carrying over that momentum could yet prove the perfect foundation for next season's title tilt. Another blow for Gareth Bale. The former Spurs man who has been constantly linked with a move to United has been left out of Madrid's latest squad amid rumours he's going to be offloaded in the summer. United need to win today. Not that United need an added incentive to win today, but if they were to lose, Manchester City would be crowned Premier League champions this afternoon. They've already put City's title celebrations on ice once and they can continue to do so if they win today and on Wednesday. TV and live stream information. Manchester United vs West Brom will be shown live on Sky Sports main event and Sky Sports Premier League from 3:30 p.m, kickoff at Old Trafford is at 4 p.m. Sky Sports customers will also be able to stream the game via Sky Go.